Good morning, everybody. This is Karen with kenetickarma. I'm here to do a pick a card reading for you today. And during my, actually, let me give a shout out to the Book of Saint, Saint is a reader on YouTube. And I was listening to him, and it wasn't so much anything that he was saying in the broadcast as much as it was something just came through. And what came through was the question, are you living in a death trance? Are you living in a death trance? And that had to do with, living in a state where you think you're living, but you're really dying. Where you think that you're whole and complete, but you're really fractioned, or they're showing me like broken glass, like a sheet of broken glass with all of the cracks in it that hasn't fell apart yet. So that's what your soul looks like. That's what your spiritual wherewithal is very, very fragile. All I'd have to do is take something and tap it and the whole thing would shatter. Do you feel like that in your life? If you do, then this reading, there's something really here for you. I'm sure that the reading has to do with are you living in a death trance? And the reason I can identify with this is because I was living in a death trance for most of my life. I had been conditioned from, I don't know when, very young, as a child, to allow people to have power over me, to allow institutions to have power over me, to allow myself to be put in second place versus first place in terms of my needs and my wants, my desires, in terms of how I take care of me. I was putting the mask in the airplane on everybody else, and then I just died, So that I don't know if you can identify with this, if you were very subservient. I was very gullible, very focused, though. It's kind of like my strengths were my weaknesses. My strengths were my greatest weaknesses. My ability to focus and to put my head down and to grind, and only see what's in front of me versus taking a panoramic view of a situation. It allowed me to create things, but it also kept me from seeing the full truth in situations. The full breadth of who I was being was very limited because I allowed myself to be controlled by people. I allowed myself to care more about what people thought about me than what I thought about me. Okay, unfortunately, I was groomed that way from a very young age. I was groomed to believe that I didn't matter, that I wasn't going to be anything, that I couldn't do anything. Literally, these are the literal conversations that were ingrained in me over and over and over again for a good period of my preteen and teen years. And it was done, on purpose by a very controlling, sick individual who wanted to have domination and control over me. So I developed, subconsciously these powerful beliefs about myself that were very disempowering. And in that sense, I attracted leeches and vampires and people who just wanted to use and take from me. And where I didn't attract them, I created them in my life because I felt like that was the dynamic that was life, and that was what I knew. So I had to continue and perpetrate what it was that I knew. But what it was that I knew was not the whole story. What it was that I knew was only a very small piece of who Karen was and is, you know. It was a very small piece of why people were attracted to me in my life, of why people chose to be around me, and to and in my intimate relationships mostly, it showed a real strong affinity to codependency, to me being in codependent relationships where I was the subservient, where I was the giver, and relationships were very unbalanced, and my partners were takers. And I thought that that was how love was supposed to be. It was painful. They would use manipulating techniques to control and dominate me, but because they weren't directly obvious, I couldn't see what it was that was occurring in the dynamic of the relationship, in terms of trauma bonding, in terms of control, in terms of manipulation to make me think that, I was crazy, gaslighting, what have you. I've been through the whole gamut. But what I'm saying is that I was basically living in a death trance. I was living with vampires who were sucking the life out of me slowly, and I did not know it. Because I was in this trance-like state where I believed, based on my conditioning, my socialization, what I knew that was the way life should be. That was the way relationships should be. That there was no other possibility, because I never knew anything else. And I wouldn't allow myself, because of my fears and because of my weaknesses and my unhealed traumas, I wouldn't allow myself to come out of the relationship, because if I did, then I would have no protection. That's what I felt. I felt better the demon that I know than the one that I don't know. So I stayed in unhealthy relationships for very, very, very long times. And I'm not just talking about one relationship. I'm talking about, I created this on multiple levels in my life. And so I'm doing this reading, and I'm trying to be as honest and forthright as I can, because I know that I wasn't, and that I'm not, and I won't be the last, the first, or ever to experience what it was that I was in. And it was like they're showing me really, really murky water. My life was all murky water. I was in a death trance. I was dying. I was allowing people to use my vitality, my genius, my gifts, my life to serve them versus serving me. All because I refused, or I wasn't ready or able to access the part of me that needed healing desperately in order for me to cut those relationships and to reinvent my conversation about what love is, what health is, what relationships should look like, what I want it to look like, how will it serve me, and then how can I be of service to others. But primarily, I needed to heal me. I needed to take care of the inner child that had been greatly wounded over and over and over, and abused and used and manipulated, and was just like out there. It's like I was hanging out in my life, and if I had a sign to put on my chest, it was, here, come fuck with me, because you can, because I don't know the difference between people who mean me well versus people who want to slowly kill me. I didn't know the difference. But thank God, through a long time of constantly studying and doing spiritual work and getting initiated in certain spiritual practices and groups, I developed enough wherewithal to really piece together what the fuck was going on in my life. I began to put the pieces together, and I could see that the story that was being told was really, really much, much bigger than what I saw, than what I believed. And when I saw this, because I got connected to something that really meant something to me, to one of my primary values, I got connected, really connected with it. And when I saw that one of my primary values was being breached, was being disrespected, I was like, oh, hell no. And then the whole castle fell down, brick by brick by brick. I was like, hell no. And as the castle started falling, I started seeing more and more and more breaches, more and more lies, more and more deceit, more and more things that had been done in a way that just indicated that the people who were in my life were just using me. I was just there to be used for their beck and call, for their desire, for their ego, whatever. The more shit fell, the more the bricks fell in the tower, the more I saw the truth. And the truth was not pretty. It was not. And I'm still understanding some of those truths. I'm still looking at things that occurred in my life and coming to peace with some of those things. So it's an ongoing journey. Well, enough of that about my life. What about your life? What about why you clicked on this video at this specific time? Because I assure you there are no coincidences in the universe. So, with that said, let me take a moment to connect. Okay, so the rune that I pulled today is Berkana. Berkana is Earth, Mother, and Birth. It's a bee. It looks like a bee, but very pointed. Earth, Mother, and Earth. This is where they're saying you need to put your faith and your trust into the Mother Earth, into nature. If you go into nature and you sit, you're willing to just sit or to just be peaceful in that environment, then there are messages for you regarding your journey. So I'm going to start out doing 3 picker cards. I want you to pick number 1, number 2, and number 3. Let me know what group you're in, and we're going to start this reading. And I hope it continues. If it doesn't, I'm just going to do a part 2, part 3, whatever it takes. Because the editing is not my thing at this time. I haven't even gotten anywhere close to it. So I want, for group 1, they're saying, I want to pull cards. They're saying pull crystal cards. But first, let me go back. I want you to take a breath, and I want you to breathe in very slowly and fill your stomach and have the breath come from the bottom of your stomach up through your chest. Hold it and then breathe out. And as you breathe out, I want you to release whatever it is that you're holding on to. Leave whatever troubles, whatever conversations, whatever distractions you have at the door. Come into the room and ask your spirit, ask your guides, ask God, whatever it is that works for you, which group has the message for you, and pick. Now I'm gonna start with group 1, and group 1 is the messages as far as, are you living in a death trance? Seduction, allure, desire, manipulation. So for group 1, if this resonates with you, I'm pretty sure it does. there's something happening around seduction in your life. There is something occurring, and it is in an infinity. It is in a circular, is of a circular nature. So the cycle starts, it completes, you get out of it, and then you go right back into it, like an 8. Like the number of this card, number 8. Seduction. This beautiful bed is the place where someone greeted their unspoken desire and where they met their end. It is the place to which so many of you are drawn, even when you know the outcome may be dangerous. This card comes to you now to warn you, empower you, and ask you to heed. The one who knows what it is you want has a plan for you, and that plan involves their own satisfaction. There is one about you who understands very deeply what people desire, and most especially what you desire. Oh my God, this is exactly what happened to me. Okay. It is not so simple and crass as sexual satisfaction or a kind of food or even a job or status in life you are being offered. It is the deep feeling that you are understood, accepted, and desired for who you are. But it is a truth that this person who is now seducing you is doing so with every kind of ability to stifle and inhibit your life force. Are you in a death trance? I ask again. This is not to say that you must look about you now with suspicion of all people. You must simply become aware of your desire and your vulnerabilities. This card is a call to self-knowledge, to understand that when you are called to the beautiful bed, you may be drained and you may even die to a part of yourself. And they're telling me, I'm getting, them saying that there very well could be sex magic afoot here as well. For you will come to know that the love that has been offered to you has been for satisfaction of another. If you do go to the bed of the vampire, you will leave a part of yourself there. Someone about you is ready to seduce you. If you choose to be seduced, they will have what they want and you will lose more than you know. Be careful. Oh, okay, so this is what I'm talking about. It's a death trance. So seduction and allure and love spells and beauty spells people do to make you attracted to them. And you may not necessarily know why you feel so attracted, so drawn in. Hypnotizing, speaking to you in certain ways. There are all kinds of technologies that can put you into a trance, into seduction. And that's what this card is talking about. And they're saying be very aware. And because it's sexual, I want to pull from the Sexual Magic Tarot, the Tarot of Sexual Magic, and get more information on this. Seven of chalices, 7 of cups, 7 of cups. And what that is, and I'm not going to show these cards because they're explicit, and I don't want to limit it to children, but basically the 7 of cups is that there are several cups, but you don't know what's in them. So you need to take a step back. You need to examine your past. You need to examine your values. You need to understand what a goal is. And I don't mean understand it as you understand it now. And I don't mean understand a value as you understand it now. I mean go talk to someone who is educated in the process of goal setting, of vision, of values, of boundaries, of healthy relationships, and find out what it is that you're missing, because definitely for you not to be ensnared in such a manipulative, highly precise, targeted experience, you're going to need to have some information under your belt upon which you can employ to defend yourself, to defend your life force, to protect your life force and your spiritual space. Because truly what they're doing is they're encroaching upon your vital energy, your spiritual energy, your life force, your ability to create. So please go and do that. Seven of Cups, you don't know what's in it. Okay. And you've already got the warning. You know where these people or this situation is coming from. So heed the message and do what you need to do. Now, in terms of crystals that would work for you, black tourmaline. Highly, highly protective crystal. And the other one is labradorite. Protect your magic. Black tourmaline is protect your light. And orange calcite, unlock your creativity. So they could be, with this unlock your creativity, they could be the person that you're intimate with, that you're having sex with, that's drawing you in, that's seducing you, could be tying up your creativity so that you can only give it to them. Now, how would a person do that? I can't freaking tell you, but what I can tell you is that it is possible that they have you totally fixated on them. It could be through making you jealous. It could be through causing trauma bonding. It could be through